My wife's a crier, so I'm not going to look at her so I don't start getting emotional. But, we've been in a lot of cities and a lot of places, and I will tell you there's good people in this country, in a lot of cities, a lot of places, but I don't think there's a better percentage of good people than Green Bay. And I say that from my heart. The people that are here are amazing, top to bottom. They embraced us. They embraced this program, our family, everything about this community, embraced our team and who we were. And I sit out here at our table and, with the Pfeiffers and Italics and just all the people that embraced this program was truly amazing. And I know the golf outing now makes over 200,000 at Eastern. We were doing a golf outing the last 2 years, and I think they made 5,000 or 10,000. They felt pretty good about it, honestly. And at Illinois, we'd do a golf outing, they made 20,000. They felt really good about that day. And this community is raising 200,000 for women's basketball. It just is amazing. So the year before, we're playing Iowa State. We beat Virginia, thanks to the Buzz and Mike, and beat Virginia and held down Monica Wright. We're down 1 or 2, call timeout, and we're talking about what plays to run. And we decided to run side 1. It's something we're familiar with. We'd run it 100 times, scored on 100 times. And Celeste comes out to the corner, and Iowa State actually switches it. I didn't really think they'd switch it, but they did. Celeste has got a big Gardner. Julia White is posted up inside against this little guard. The guard standing behind her. Celeste could have thrown it to her, but instead, Celeste is a warrior and attacker, and she goes off the dribble and drives the baseline and absolutely gets fouled. If you know Celeste, she'd always get in foul trouble, and every time she's like, "That's bullshit," and she never thought it was a foul, but this time she did get fouled and got pushed out of bounds, and of course we're playing Iowa State on their home court, so they don't call it. And we lose. We go to the locker room, and everybody in that locker room, I remember like it was yesterday, we thought next year we have to take a step. We have to get to the Sweet 16, or we're going to feel like a failure. And again, it wasn't necessarily reality, but it's how we felt. And we felt like if we don't take a step, if we don't go to the Sweet 16, something's not right. And these guys made it happen, and just an unbelievable season. And I will tell you this, we lost to Baylor. Baylor was the best team in the country. They were the number 1 team in the country. They beat A&M 3 times. A&M beat them the next, 2 days later. But Baylor was by far the best team in the country. No question about it. And we played them in Dallas. Griner shoots 20 for 20 from the foul line. If we played Baylor on a neutral court, we beat Baylor. And we go to the Final Four. We might even be able to compete for a national championship. And I know you say, well, they were Sweet 16 good. No, we were probably Final Four good. We might have been national championship good. They were in the locker room, bawling their eyes out, feeling like we just lost to a team that we should have beat. Honestly, we felt like we were better than Baylor. And that's the way these guys, they stepped on the court, and they absolutely believed that, and we tell them, our staff did a great job. We tell them, do you think for 1 second Michigan State has worked as hard as you in practice? And they'd look us in the eyes, and they would absolutely say there's no chance that they've worked as hard as we've worked. Well, I said, well, then just go play, because you've earned the right to win this game. You've earned, and they were in the locker room, Big Ten champs, because we went 4-0 against the Big Ten afterwards. But it was true. The way we practiced was better than everybody else. How hard we practiced, the level of intensity. I know the team came back and talked to the team today, and if a team could practice like that team, good things are going to happen. And they deserve to be a Sweet 16. And honestly, they were right there to be Final Four good and competing for national championship good. That's how good those players were. So my honor to be able to introduce them. And I will say, in college athletics, they're just right now, there isn't a lot right. There's a lot of things that you look at and think, wow, it's a different world. There's just not a lot of great things happening. And I would tell you, these young ladies and these coaches, they did it right. And they did it so right, and it was so connected and so good. And this fans and this community, they embraced it, and it was amazing. It still is amazing today. Watching that video, I got goosebumps, and it was a special time. And Kayla, I hope you can make this great. She is as smart as player as any I've ever coached. She's going to do a great job here. So Kayla, just keep it going, and you were part of that to make it happen. At this time, Adrian Ritchie is going to come up and represent the players and be able to talk. I told Adrian's parents, Adrian always thought it was going in. For the time she stepped on campus, she thought it was going in, and she made him when it mattered. So she was my first recruit to come here, and I would be one of the best. So Adrian.
Okay, wow, what a room. I think I just want to echo what everyone else has already said and felt. Just to be here, to have a room like this that's possible, is like, it could give me, shivers for the rest of my life, I think. To have the time this morning with the current players and just all of us were up on that panel, it just like, the love and the passion that we feel for this place just comes pouring out of us. Like we feel it every day, we live it every day. When we see someone that we haven't seen in a while, it doesn't really matter. And then to be able to talk about it and have the honor and take this moment in time, I think is just incredible. So I want to thank you all on behalf of my team and thank our coaches for making it happen. We had such a great staff. It was a collective. It was never about one character. It was truly about the whole group. And I think the older I get, the more I realize that that's true. And just how special it is, because you just can't get this. You can't replicate what this is. And I just feel so thankful to be a part of it. So let's go back to 2011 for a little bit. I think, Coach, you said a lot of great things that feed right into the way I look at it as well. I think it's just so cool to put ourselves back there, and that we were so relentless in whatever we did. We decided, the things that we decided together was what made everything in the exterior possible. It's the things we did every single day, the amount of eye contact we had, the way that we talked to each other, the words that we used. That's how you can show up to the big stage and make a season, a career like that possible. And I just think it's because of who we were. And Coach talked about that first season, my freshman year. We lose at Iowa State, like barely. After getting the at-large bid, we lost 3 games on the road somehow in Chicago, which still can barely go back there because of that. And so we lose that year, like we shouldn't have lost, but we also were the biggest underdog and we weren't even supposed to be there. And he's right, we walked away from that season kind of deciding that the Sweet 16 or bust. But we only had to say it a few times. It slowly and surely just became who we were and what we did every single day. We didn't have to say in practice, let's make it to the Sweet 16. It just was so obvious to us that if we wanted more and we wanted to be more and we wanted to go further, it was clear that it was at least the Sweet 16, like Coach said. We really felt like we were one of the best teams in the country and we could work as hard as anybody. So why not us? Why couldn't it be us? We took, steps. Everyone stepped up when we needed to. We passed the torch no matter, we always said that our best player was the open player. And we emulated that. We really walked the walk. And I think a 34-2 record is really good evidence of that. Speaking of those 2 losses, though, if we had to go back, in case anyone was still, ruminating on the horrible losses that were, Baylor, we shouldn't have lost that game. Brittany Griner scores 40 on us, and that would have been fine, but Odyssey Sims goes off. We were even on the boards. I tweaked my knee in the second half and wasn't really able to come back, and so that is one. So we're just going to put that one over there, because technically everyone has to have at least one loss in the season, unless you win the whole thing. And so that one, we're not even going to count that one. And then the Marquette loss at Marquette, it was a close game. It's kind of one of those games where we were always a little bit behind. It was kind of like, are we going to wake up here? Which we weren't used to feeling or playing like that. But even so, I think we were probably playing 80% of what we were capable of, and we were still in it. We were down a dozen at halftime. We came back really quickly. Within the first 4 minutes, it was a tie game, but they just kind of hung around, and it was their home court, and they were very excited. They were excited to beat us, especially because we, usually we beat them. I think we were up 42-8 on them one time. It was in the big picture in our locker room. So we remember that, and I'm sure they did too. And so, to be at Marquette, we were in it at the end, and then we call red, which is my favorite play, because I get an open 3. Kayla always gets me open every single time. So we were down 3. They're at the free throw line down 3. It falls off to the left and miss, and so we're in transition. Celeste's entry pass to Sarah on the left wing. Sarah penetrates to get that defender in the lane, and I'm walking to the nail. This is just how the play works. And Kayla's behind me, finding my defender. She gets me open every single time. And almost this time was a little bit surprising how open I was. And so I had a shot to tie at 3, and I missed it. So I'm going to take that second loss. I'll take the accountability for that one. And so the way I see that year, both losses were they were part of the story and we needed them, but we were also just so incredibly good and we scored so many points that you always felt so extremely confident. No matter who was on your left and who was on your right, the amount of confidence that we could show up to in a competition, whoever we were playing, is a feeling that I've never been able to find again, and I don't think we ever will. And I think that's kind of the point, is why we were so special, to bring us all together because of the systems and the frameworks that we built. Frameworks of integrity, selflessness, grit, just deciding that it was important to us and then pursuing it relentlessly. That's who we were, that's what made Green Bay great, and that's what we're trying to pass on. And to have Kayla back here, especially in this moment, in this year, I think you can't write a better story. And so we're so excited to be even closer to the program and carry that tradition on in any way we can to serve her. So let's talk about our coaches for a little bit. I think we're so lucky to have a great group around us and supporting us. We didn't always agree. Like Coach D didn't necessarily think I was good at defense my freshman year. Or that maybe stop getting thrown around. Give or take, we could agree to disagree, but ultimately, I think we just learned so much. And I have one memory, like I think we all can probably picture Coach D. He would always sit on a basketball underneath the hoop. By the end of practice, we always ended with like 5-on-5 of some kind, whether you're playing offense or defense, and Coach D would end up sitting on the ball watching us from under the hoop. And I feel like we weren't getting 3 stops in a row, or there's something that we weren't quite hitting. And he stopped us, and he kind of took us all out of it for a moment and said, I can remember this so clearly. He's like, you, for the rest of your life, you will be chasing 3-on-3 tournaments, rec leagues, any form of competition that you can to get this feeling back again. And in the moment, you're trying to practice, yeah, coach, whatever. Let's get on with it. But I think we heard it in that moment. Clearly, it stuck with me, and I think we can all attest that that's what makes this so special, is that it is finite. It will end, but we decided that it was too important to us to waste a single minute, a single game, a single practice, and it's how we can show up here today as if we never left, in the middle of a conversation, especially with a group who supported us for so many years. And so, Coach, you weren't right about everything. I actually was on the all-defensive team my senior year, thank you very much. But you were right about that. I'll give you that one. Okay, so, well, I'll send you the article. So, in conclusion, I just want to say that I'm so proud to be a part of this room, seriously. I see so many people that supported us, loved us, met us where we were, and just cheered for us endlessly. And so I want to give those cheers back and just say thank you on the behalf of our Sweet 16 team. We love you so much. I love my team. I love everyone I play with in my career. It was truly a special time. So I know it's not a wedding, and I don't have a drink, but let's raise a toast to all of our future Hall of Famers that we share the stage with tonight, my team. Thank you, and cheers to the sweetest season we ever had, and to being a Phoenix forever. Thank you.